They say money is neutral, but what if it isn't? What if every dollar, every coin, every transaction carries an invisible residue, a vibration imprinted by every hand that touched it, every intention that surrounded it? Money doesn't just flow through economies, it flows through souls. And with each exchange, it absorbs more than numbers. It gathers karma, the energy of greed, of gratitude, of fear, of freedom. Some people attract wealth effortlessly, as if the universe conspires in their favor. Others chase it endlessly, yet it slips away like water through open fingers. The difference isn't luck, it's energy. It's karma, manifesting through material form. In this journey, we'll descend into the unseen, into the spiritual circuitry behind financial energy. Because the money you hold might not just buy what you want, it might also carry what you are. Money was never meant to be just paper, metal, or data in invisible clouds. In its truest essence, money is condensed energy, human intention shaped into form. Long before it became digital numbers, it began as a sacred agreement between souls. I give you my time, my effort, my creation, and you give me something that carries the same energetic value. But as civilization evolved, that sacred exchange lost its purity. Money became a mirror, reflecting back the vibration of whoever holds it. When it is born, through labor, invention, or trade, it is infused with the emotional signature of its creation. If it's born through passion, gratitude, and service, it carries the frequency of abundance. If it's born through deceit, exploitation, or fear, it carries the vibration of scarcity and imbalance. Every note, every coin, every transfer has an invisible story. When you hold money, you are not just holding purchasing power, you're holding an echo of human consciousness. Imagine the money in your wallet. Where has it been? Who touched it before you? What thoughts surrounded it? Desperation, joy, greed, or relief? That is the karmic residue that silently enters your field. Energy never disappears. It only changes form. And money, more than almost anything else, is the modern vessel through which energy circulates among billions of people. Each transaction is an energetic handshake, an exchange not just of value, but of vibration. You may not see it, but your subconscious feels it. When you spend with fear, you feed scarcity. When you give with love, you expand abundance. When you earn with integrity, you align your karmic frequency with the higher flow of the universe. The universe doesn't judge how much you have, only how you resonate with what you have. That's why some people, even with little, radiate richness. Their energy field is open, generous, and grateful, while others, despite vast wealth, live in constant anxiety because their money carries a karmic weight, a heavy echo of unbalanced intention. Money in this way behaves like water. It takes the shape of its container, your consciousness. If your mind is clouded with fear, the flow becomes stagnant. If your spirit is aligned, the current becomes clear. That is why certain people can manifest financial opportunities seemingly out of nowhere. They are not forcing money to come. They are resonating with its higher pattern. True abundance doesn't start in the wallet. It begins in the aura. Your beliefs, emotions, and integrity weave a frequency that either attracts clean energy or magnetizes karmic debris. And the cleaner your vibration, the purer the money that finds you. Some traditions even teach that before accepting or spending money, you should bless it, not because the paper has mystical power, but because intention does. When you bless what you receive, you purify its path. You neutralize the energetic residue it carries and align it with gratitude and purpose. The act of earning money is not just survival, it's spiritual participation in the collective energy of humanity. Every job, every transaction, every exchange adds another thread to the great karmic tapestry of wealth. That's why when money enters your life through honesty, compassion, or creativity, it carries light. But when it's born through manipulation or harm, it drags shadows with it. And those shadows follow whoever keeps it until the energy finds balance again. So the next time you receive money, pause. Feel it in your hands. Acknowledge the invisible lineage it carries. And remember, you are not just an earner or a spender. You are a transmitter in the universal current of energy that we call currency. Money doesn't change people, it reveals them. When energy moves into form, when abundance manifests in physical reality, it begins to echo the vibration of the one who commands it. Wealth, therefore, is not a blessing or a curse. It's a magnifier. It expands whatever already lives within your soul. Give a kind person wealth, and they'll build bridges. Give a greedy one, and they'll build walls. The karmic energy of money doesn't decide your fate. It simply multiplies your essence. That is the great paradox of spiritual abundance. The universe never gives you what you want. It gives you what you are ready to handle. Because money is not passive energy. It listens. It reacts. It obeys the frequency of your consciousness. That's why for some, sudden wealth feels like a curse. They think they've gained freedom, but they've actually inherited a mirror. One that shows every wound, every fear, every unhealed desire. Wealth amplifies your light, but it also amplifies your shadows. If you carry guilt, money will manifest more guilt. If you carry fear, money will feed more fear. If you carry love, money becomes an instrument of light, a tool for healing, creation, and growth. The karmic law is not about punishment or reward. It's about reflection. Whatever energy you project into the world returns to you through the paths you understand best. And for most of humanity, that path is financial. Think of the wealthy merchant who built an empire through exploitation. His fortune may grow, but his energy becomes heavy, tangled in unseen debts. The weight of karmic imbalance cannot be measured in numbers, only in vibration. You can possess millions and still feel spiritually bankrupt. You can have little and yet radiate abundance that transforms everyone around you. Money is not evil. It's a sacred amplifier. It magnifies love as easily as it magnifies fear. It reveals truth as easily as it exposes illusion. That is why some people suddenly lose everything, not as punishment, but as energetic correction. When your vibration no longer aligns with what you possess, the universe rebalances the equation. You don't lose wealth. You shed what your soul can no longer carry. In the unseen realms, karma is not cruel. It is precise. Every thought, every emotion, every intention leaves a trace in the ether. When these vibrations accumulate, they shape the path of energy in your material life, attracting or dissolving wealth in alignment with your spiritual maturity. So when we speak of the karma of wealth, we're not talking about cosmic justice in the human sense. We're talking about energetic mathematics, the invisible symmetry of the soul. Those who understand this secret learn to purify their wealth. They treat money not as a possession, but as a guest, a living frequency that must be respected, cleansed, and guided. They use it to serve rather than to dominate, to expand rather than to consume. Because they know that whatever flows through their hands eventually circles back, magnified, purified, or poisoned by their own intention. And in this cycle, one truth becomes unavoidable. You do not own your money. Your money owns your reflection. It shows you where your fears still hide. It shows you how much trust you have in the unseen. It shows you whether your abundance is rooted in love or in the illusion of control. Wealth, in the karmic sense, is not about luxury or poverty. It's about alignment. And alignment is born when the energy you emit matches the energy you seek to receive. If your wealth grows faster than your wisdom, karma will slow it down. If your wisdom expands beyond your wealth, karma will speed it up. Either way, balance is always the law. There was a time when money served life. Now, life serves money. Once, currency was the sacred pulse of exchange, a tool to move energy, to share creation. But as humanity drifted from its center, the flow became corrupted. Money lost its spirit. It became hollow, a vessel without vibration, spinning endlessly in the hands of those who no longer remember what it was meant for. When money loses its soul, it stops flowing in harmony with nature's rhythm. It begins to circle itself, accumulating, stagnating, consuming its own purpose. That is the birth of energetic decay, the karmic rot that forms when intention vanishes and desire takes its place. Every imbalance in the collective soul of humanity manifests in the world's financial systems. Fear becomes debt, greed becomes inflation, lack of empathy becomes exploitation. And these are not just economic phenomena. They are symptoms of spiritual illness. The corruption of money doesn't begin in banks or corporations. It begins in hearts. It begins when we chase numbers without remembering meaning, when we measure worth by digits instead of light. You can feel it, the cold vibration of money born from manipulation, the emptiness behind the luxurious facade, that eerie sense that something is missing, even when everything seems successful. That is karmic dissonance, the echo of energy that has forgotten its source. Money disconnected from consciousness behaves like a storm without direction. It destroys as easily as it builds. It feeds egos, not souls. It amplifies illusions of power. The belief that control can replace connection, that possession can replace peace. But every storm eventually returns to stillness. Karma is patient. It watches silently as the flow becomes distorted. And then it restores balance in ways the mind cannot predict. Sometimes, this restoration arrives as collapse, sudden financial loss, market breakdowns, or collective crises. Other times it comes softly, through awakening, through deep realization that what once mattered now feels meaningless. In both cases, the intention is the same: to remember. To remind humanity that energy cannot be owned, only directed. When the flow becomes corrupted, the universe intervenes. Because energy that no longer serves evolution must be recycled. It's not punishment, it's purification. That's why some fortunes vanish overnight, while others, built on integrity, seem untouchable. It's why entire systems fall when greed outweighs gratitude. And it's why those who align with truth often find prosperity returning to them in mysterious, miraculous ways. To heal the corruption of money, one must first heal the vibration within. Money responds to frequency. If you project fear, it echoes scarcity. If you radiate trust, it returns as flow. You cannot cleanse the world's currency without cleansing your own consciousness first. Each time you spend, earn, or give, you are casting an energetic vote, a declaration of what kind of world you believe in. When you buy from love, you expand light. When you give with compassion, you multiply grace. When you hoard from fear, you contract your field and money feels it. In truth, money wants to move. It wants to serve, to build, to heal. It longs to return to its original frequency, circulation guided by purpose, not possession. But for that to happen, humanity must remember that abundance is not something to take. It's something to tune into. The more disconnected we are from spirit, the more corrupted our flow becomes. And in that corruption, the illusion of control deepens until the universe steps in to dismantle what was built on imbalance. The karmic energy of corrupted money carries a weight that no human can sustain forever. It demands purification. And that purification often comes as loss, not as cruelty, but as mercy. Because what you lose in form, you gain in truth. And in truth, the flow begins again. The alchemy of abundance, cleansing the karmic flow. Karma does not demand perfection. It asks for awareness. And awareness, true awareness, is the fire that transforms energy. It is the beginning of spiritual alchemy. To cleanse the karmic energy that clings to money, you must first see money for what it truly is, a mirror, not a master. Every time you receive it, it reflects your vibration back to you. If you feel guilt, it amplifies guilt. If you feel gratitude, it amplifies flow. Money is not a moral force. It's a magnifier of energy, waiting for intention to give it direction. The alchemy begins with stillness, with the courage to look within before you look at your balance. Ask yourself, what energy did I give to receive this? What vibration am I sending when I spend it? Every act of exchange is an energetic ritual. If you treat it as sacred, it becomes sacred. Cleansing the karmic flow is not about giving everything away or rejecting material life. It is about alignment. When you align your inner frequency with truth, money naturally gravitates toward balance. It no longer clings or slips away. It simply circulates, effortlessly, endlessly, like breath. True abundance begins when you stop chasing and start tuning. Because the higher you raise your vibration, the cleaner your flow becomes. And the cleaner your flow, the purer the energy of money that enters your field. Here's the secret the ancient mystics understood. Energy obeys gratitude. It bends toward it. When you bless what you have, no matter how small, you send out a frequency of abundance that ripples through reality itself. It tells the universe, I am already whole. And from that wholeness, more arrives, not as reward, but as resonance. The alchemy of wealth is not achieved by controlling energy, but by becoming one with it. It's a shift from ownership to stewardship, from fear to flow, from separation to participation. Imagine money as golden light moving through your life. When it enters, bless it. When it leaves, thank it. When you spend, do so with clarity. When you give, do so with joy. These small rituals recalibrate your energetic field, cleansing old karmic imprints and transforming them into light. Even the act of forgiving those who wronged you financially becomes alchemy, because forgiveness releases energetic debt. It frees the karmic current that was trapped in resentment, allowing abundance to move again. And perhaps the most profound secret of all, the universe cannot resist a clear vessel. When your energy is clean, when your heart is open and your intention pure, wealth doesn't need to be pursued. It recognizes you, it remembers you, it returns to you like a long-lost frequency finding its source. But this is not the same wealth the world teaches you to seek. It's a higher kind, the kind that nourishes rather than consumes. It's wealth that builds others as it builds you, that heals as it multiplies. Because in spiritual alchemy, the purpose of abundance is evolution. And so, when you purify your relationship with money, you are not just changing your finances, you are altering your fate. You are participating consciously in the karmic cycle of energy that has been spinning since the dawn of creation. You become not the chaser of wealth, but the conductor of divine flow, not the servant of money, but the steward of light. And from that place, money is no longer heavy. It becomes weightless. It becomes sacred. It moves through you, to where it's needed, to who is ready, to what is aligned. And each time it returns, it carries back the echo of your purity, multiplied and refined by the infinite intelligence of the universe itself. That is karmic alchemy, the transformation of energy through consciousness, the remembrance that abundance in its highest form is not possession, but participation in the eternal current of creation. You were never meant to chase money. You were meant to vibrate with it. Because the karmic energy that comes with money is not a chain, it's a signal. It calls you to awaken to the truth that abundance was never outside of you. It has always been the echo of your inner frequency. We spend lifetimes believing that wealth is something to win, but the universe doesn't reward accumulation. It rewards alignment. It responds not to your ambition, but to your awareness. Every coin, every note, every transfer carries a fragment of the collective human soul, both its light and its shadow. And every time you choose intention over impulse, gratitude over greed, flow over fear, you purify not just your own energy, but the world's. Money was never the goal. It was the teacher. A mirror so powerful it could expose everything you still need to heal. The way you earn, spend, give, and even think about it, that is your spiritual reflection in motion. If you felt scarcity, remember, the lack is not in the universe. It's in the frequency you've been taught to hold. If you felt guilt, cleanse it with awareness. If you felt fear, breathe light into it, and let the flow return. You do not need to become someone else to attract abundance. You only need to remember who you are, a vessel of infinite energy, capable of transforming everything you touch into higher vibration, money included. Because when your consciousness rises, money follows, not as power, not as validation, but as resonance, a perfect reflection of your awakened state. So bless what comes, release what goes, and let the current move through you without resistance, without control. For every breath, every exchange, every choice carries the same sacred truth. You are not separate from abundance. You are the abundance, dreaming itself into form.